All right, everyone. So this is our last breakout session. Congratulations for making it this far. This is a long day, but it's been a great day of learning. We're here for growing your professional learning network. Heidi Carr is amazing. You're going to learn so much from her. So I'm going to turn it over to Heidi.
Thank you so much, Christia. It's been fun being with you these last 3 hours. I'm here to present on growing your professional learning network. My name is Heidi Carr. I am an instructional facilitator in Clark County School District, as well as I teach one section of sixth grade math. I'm also a Nevada Digital Ambassador with Christia, which is awesome. I'm Nevada Side's president. And I just have a passion for learning and connecting with educators. Okay. So in the chat, feel free to tell me, what does it mean to network? When you hear network, what does that mean to you? So I'll give you a second. Feel free to type in your answers and then just add it into the chat. Connect. Ooh, build connections. Love it. Share information. Yes. Put yourself out there and hope others like what you do. Excellent. I love it. Yeah. So today we're going to learn everything that you guys are typing in the chat is exactly getting to know others, building connections, building relationships, sharing of information, learning alongside from each other is amazing, and finding people that are just as excited about education as we are. So this is some of my professional learning network as well. So in the chat, what's the power of having a professional learning network? We talked about what networking is, but what's the power? Like, why should I even have one? Support, yes. Ideas. Excellent. Excellent sharing. Yes. So in my professional learning network, or PLN, I have educators from here in Nevada, and I am thankful Christy is in that. I was like thinking, I thought I added a picture of her that we took from the state conference back in September. Other states, and I have educators that I know that teach across the globe as well. So this is powerful. So some of us, sometimes it's a little nervous, like, why should we even network? How does this even benefit me? Because sometimes in education, we get so isolated in our schools and in our classroom that we forget. And in the business world, this is more common, I noticed, than it is in education. I don't have a desire, but talking and learning alongside other educators is so powerful. And our network may seem large because it's global. There's teachers all over the world, but it's extremely small. And as we start networking and talking to others, they're going to be like, oh, when I go to events, people are like, oh, have you met Christia? There's people here in Nevada that I learned about from other people from other states. So there's a conference, an event I went to in DC, and they're like, hey, do you know so-and-so? I was like, no. So they put us in a chat on Twitter and DM'd us, and then now he is part of my PLN, which is awesome. So you never know who's in our network. So it's important that we start tearing down our classroom and our school walls, and it is nerve-wracking and nerve-wracking. And since the pandemic, we have casinos here in Las Vegas that still have not opened up, and they're actually being torn down. So before I say too much, we're going to take a look at this video.
What you are seeing right here is the demolition of the Fiesta Hotel. This is what it looks like as of September 16th. And as you can see, they still have quite a ways to go yet, and separating the debris into certain categories, and then simply hauling it off into dump trailers. More than
So what happens when we start tearing down our walls, what do you think happens? Ooh, it's a blank canvas. Oh. Ooh, opening things up to new ideas. Love it. Ooh, wipe out the old. Ooh, yes. Vulnerability. That one's tough. Starting from scratch. Yeah, so it is challenging for us to be able to open up with other educators. It is super hard. We like to be in. I'm sure the Fiesta loved. There's probably great stories. There's great stories happening in our classrooms and our schools. But let's inspire. Let's tear down those walls so we could build our story, because your story matters. And think about what stories you want to be able to tell. Being on social media is so powerful. It gets like a bad negative connotation, but it's really not. It's so powerful, and it all depends on how you use it. So my last name is Carr. For those of you that know me, like Crific is kind of like my thing. So how do you want to create your Crific story? Those are some things you want to think about. Think about your professional image. You get to create your character. You get to create that character in person, face to face. You also get to create that same character, I hope, online. You also are able to share what drives you, what motivates you, what inspires you. You could even ask for help. You get to start writing your narrative, which is awesome. How many of us wish some of our narratives or some of the things we read would be different? Now we get to sit and say, hey, this is me. This is what I want people to know about me, because each of you are awesome. And give your name credibility. Like earlier this morning, Superintendent Joan Ebert said, you are valued, you matter. Give yourself credibility. You are awesome. And I will agree with that. You get to build relationships. Then we get to learn alongside others, new ideas, trends. We get to be relevant to our learners. Those new TikTok dances, when they ask you, do you know how to do it? Some of us could say, yeah, because we're sitting there trying to figure out and watching them in our living room to build those relationships with our kids as well. Figure out what's the new best practices. What are things teachers are doing or trying, or what worked well? We know that Heidi did this, it didn't work. These are some things she said. I took what she said, I tweaked it, and then we get to share. So that's powerful. And the most important is, when you are creating your story, be authentic, be yourself. So I am someone who's extremely positive. And so I even make sure I'm even positive online as well. I want what I'm doing. If I could help someone else, I want to inspire others. That's something that I want to be able to do. I also like to document what I'm doing in my classroom, what I'm learning with others. It also creates those memories for me. It's fun for me to be able to go back and say, oh, I forgot I did that. I haven't done that in a few years. Let me try it. Or, oh, I missed this group of kids, or whatever it may be. Or, man, I didn't get to go to that conference this year. We had so much fun going to ISTE in 2017. So as you start creating your story, doors are going to keep opening for you, and you're going to have endless amounts of opportunities, and your dreams are going to become your realities. And there's things that are going to become your reality that you're like, I cannot believe I'm here. Am I in a dream? Love it. Any questions so far?
Ooh, Heidi, can I add one thing to that about like being in a
course.
dream? So a few years ago, I got, super like into Google. I was a Google certified level 1, level 2, and just started connecting with people and seeing people online that were Google innovators. So I said, you know what, I want to do that. After I heard about it, I applied once. I didn't get in, But that encouraged me to connect with innovators and have them, help me. And the next time I applied, I got accepted into the Google Innovator Academy. I got to go to Sydney, Australia for 5 days to Google's headquarters there and train and basically come up with some solutions to problems that I saw in education. Now, all those people that I met from all over the world are in my PLN and my friends, and then that expanded, me into this whole Google Innovator, Google Trainer thing. I would have never gone to Sydney, Australia, or applied to be Google Innovator if I hadn't started connecting on social media. So there's that example of like, in your wildest dreams, if something can happen, it can.
I love it. Thanks for sharing, and chime in whenever, because you have a great PLN as well. And I could be missing something. So in the chat, I want you to tell me what of these apps you're on. There's way more than on here, trust me. But what are some of the apps based off of here? And if it's not on here, you're on others that are social media, feel free to put in the chat. What are some of the ones you're already on? Excellent. Some of us are like, oh my gosh, we're on more than we thought. I love it. Yes. The beach ball one is actually Marco Polo. That's the fun one.
Yeah, I used Marco Polo a lot during the pandemic with my family. That was kind of fun.
I have a few friends, that's what they prefer to use. So that's what I use, but they're kind of fun. Back, I think years ago, me and a group of friends, we would create skits. Absolutely.
My problem is I prefer Twitter, and we don't know what's going on with Twitter, so I may have to like get another preference.
No, we're gonna stay. We'll be okay. I have faith. There's that positivity side. What's that podcast? Excellent. So we are all building our network on these different apps, because as we're on these things, whether you listen to a podcast, you're on Pinterest, you're on Reddit, you're on Snapchat, some of these we use for socially with, closed, tight family and friends, and others we open up for professional. Sometimes some of these start becoming a mesh between, I'm gonna say like my Facebook, it was just for family only. And then over the years, it's kind of evolved with professional as well coming in, other teachers, people from outside the world joining me as well. So it just depends on your PLN and how your social media evolves over time. WhatsApp is also great to talk to people internationally. Voxer, I use often, and Twitter. Those are probably the ones I use the most. And all these start creating, because as we're listening to podcasts, we're like, oh, that's good. We start typically following them on TikTok, on Instagram and Twitter. The other day I was like, oh, I'm following all these people on and I'm seeing the same posts. So that's awesome as well. The other way you can start building your PLN and your network is through becoming a member of different organizations. So we have Nevada Side, which is our state technology organization that puts on the tech conference, but they're also an affiliate of ISTE and Q, and those also are membership based. Then you have the Computer Science Membership Organization, you have NCTM, you have NAME, which is the National Association of Multicultural Education, you have ASCD and NCTE, which some of you may know people at NCTE this weekend because it's in Anaheim, California. And then the latest news is ISTE and ASCD are going to be like merging. So we got two powerhouses coming together. And this is awesome because as we're part of these different organizations, we're able to network. Some of these organizations throw conferences, big conferences throughout the year and different events. as well. And going to those conferences help us as well. And sometimes it starts small all through that social media. And then we start, wow, look at this. Like I have friends right now in NCT and I'm like, man, that would be so much fun to be there with them. But it gets pricey. How can I afford? How can I attend to travel? And that's where your professional learning network is powerful. You could share hotels with them, get Airbnbs. I have done that with some. You start becoming really tight with them and they start becoming like friends and family to you. I can't get time off work. We don't have any subs. I don't want to give up my weekend. And I understand all this, but there's ways. And I think Christia has done this too. I could be wrong, but I know I have volunteered at some conferences, so I didn't have to pay for registration to help me with my cost.
And sometimes if you apply to be a presenter and you get accepted, some conference entities will give you a free, I can't think of the word, but you can go for free or discounted. So I try to present at those.
Absolutely. That discount is helpful, or that free registration. Donors choose. There's lots of different ways your principals can pay. So those are different ways. How many of you in here have attended a conference besides today's? How many of you have attended a conference either in Nevada or outside of the state of Nevada? And feel free to let us know. Ooh, that would be a fun one.
Another idea is check with your district, because in Clark County, we have like a computer science division now. And the person who oversees that secured some funds last summer for us to go to CSTA and ISTE. So that you can even check all the way up the district level.
Awesome. That's a great tip. Awesome. So those are a few different ways. Some of these organizations, if you're a part of these different membership organizations, sometimes they give away scholarships that you could join as well to be able to attend these conferences. And sometimes all they ask you to do is come and present at a conference for them to share information you have learned. So I started on Twitter many, many years ago, and I found out about EduMatch on Twitter, and that kind of sparked me being able to collaborate with teachers all over the world. And EduMatch is on Twitter and Voxer. And Voxer is like I call it like a radio channel, really, because you're able to text as well as voice text as well and listen, and you could come on and go as long as you want. Conversations are always flowing. It's awesome. And I met a lot of teachers around the globe through that PLN of EduMatch. Facebook groups are also powerful as well. So there's like Nearpod one. We have a Nevada teacher supporting teacher one. So if you're not on it, this is another great way to build your PLN as well. And we share different events, different things coming down from Nevada Department of Ed or other conferences going on. The lady from Discovery is always sharing different professional learning opportunities with Discovery, since Nevada Department of Ed did purchase that for everyone in the state for public educators. So those are just a few. And then podcast. Christia, I know, listens to podcasts. I love listening to podcasts, and those are other ways to be able to network. And then when you start going to conferences, you're like, oh my gosh, I just listened to your podcast. It was so amazing. And then you start learning and connecting with each other. YouTube is amazing. YouTube has evolved over time. And then LinkedIn is another one as well. And as you keep updating, and you'll see people are sharing in different things on LinkedIn, you'll also may get some job offers that come in to you as well, or you'll be able to see different things that are like, Oh, I can do that. Now, the power of a hashtag is powerful. These are just some of the ones, like two of them we're using today. Math is fun from the other one. So let me go ahead and go. Can you guys see Twitter?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So on Twitter, you'll see different things. So if I search, and now we have all these great ads that come up. So you could search in this search bar. I don't know. So NCTE is going on right now. So I'm just going to type in their hashtag NCTE right here. So you can see the top. The top's going to tell you, and that's based off like, so Pernell Rip, she used to live in the United States. She has now moved back to Denmark. She does a global read aloud. So if you've ever participated in the global read aloud, that's because of Pernell Rip. And I will have to admit, I was kind of like a fangirl when I met her in person a few years ago. I was super excited. But then you can see the latest. Latest means whatever's happening now. So like they're so excited to see each other, all these different things. But this is how you could also see what's going on in the different sessions. Let's see, we have some different people. Let's see. Math. So if I want to look at some different math things, I could look here. It just depends. So these hashtags curate different things for us as well. So you could get different ideas.
There are some people at conferences that will live tweet sessions. So it's kind of like you're there. So if you can't go, you can follow those hashtags. And I think ISTE has a nod at ISTE hashtag for all those people that weren't able to go. So that's another way to kind of keep up.
Yep. And they'll share the different resources being shared out as well. So that helps. Speaking of you, look at you, Christia.
There I am.
Yep. So that is powerful, how it curates, and you can find different things. I think Global Read Aloud is GRA. And so here's different ones you could have if you're participating in it this year. You could find different resources as well, which is so helpful to be able to see what's going on. So lots of different things. Pernell does a great job with that. They use hashtags with the different books that she uses. So she creates that out as well. If you just want to look at NCTE 2022 things, like here are some right here. So in this session, they're sharing out what's happening, which is awesome. Any questions on how to, hashtags work similar on Instagram and Facebook as well, as long as their accounts are public. And then here is the Nevada teacher one. It's a closed group, and there's all kinds of different things being shared in that. Any questions?
One thing that happens on Twitter a lot, or any social media, is there are oftentimes giveaways. So if you keep your eye out, there'll be people or companies giving things away. Like if you can just retweet things and kind of apply to their lottery. I've won so many things off Twitter, books. I won a doc camera. Yeah, so that's another kind of fun thing to do, is find those giveaways.
Absolutely. Like Pear Deck is here as well, Go Guardian, so they're letting you know as well. So those are some things to see. Here's me tweeting about ISTE and ASCD uniting. You could take a look at that. Q is coming up, spring Q is coming up in the next few weeks. I guess, where is it? Q. I just saw it. Pink. So you can see they have We Are Q hashtag, so you get to see what's going on. So they are using spring Q for this year's and you can see what is happening. And if you're part of the Q community, they just had this great PD as well. So this is another great way to learn about what's happening. Any questions? Anything you're like, oh, yes, had no idea. Okay. Any hashtags that you guys use or that you want to take a look at that we can look up at on Twitter so you can see? I think we have a library in here, banned books. I know was kind of one that you can learn about different books that have been banned, sorry. So you can see that as well. Authors on here as well, lots of different things. What's trending as well. So like Google right now, EI is trending, which is awesome. So you can see what's going on there.
Yeah, they're having a big they have a 24-hour virtual professional development today. It's called Spark Camp. So that's why Google EI is trending right now it's mostly sponsored by innovators, but it's for anyone.
Oh, that's cool. So if you wanted to continue learning, here's their schedule that you can look at for today. Anyone else have a hashtag they want to take a look at? If any of you guys want to know what's going on with soccer, that's trending too right now. Okay. So it's important that we think wherever we are nowadays in our world, whether we're texting someone, emailing someone, we are leaving a mark on this world. So what type of mark do you want to leave? I want you to think about that for a second. What type of mark do you want to leave? Okay, go ahead and put that in the chat. What type of mark you want to leave? Ooh, change for the better. Make it this world better. Love it. Ooh, remembered by a few students for a reason for them to smile. Absolutely. Love it. Those emails and little things we get from them when they email us is so inspiring. Excellent. Helpful, caring, and positive. And that positivity is powerful. I know Christia always posts positive stuff online. There's lots of stuff out there that I'm sure her and I both could sit there and comment on, but we would rather be positive than jump into the negativity. Oh, I want to empower people with a belief in themselves. They can do anything they choose to. Oh, I learned this. Oh, I'm a student. Oh, that's awesome. A stronger sense of joy within themselves, peace within this world, and harmony around with those around them. I love it. I'll have to share it, and it just happened to work out with what we were doing is many years ago, I had this student, I taught her in 5th grade, and she emailed me. She's super excited that I was always believing in her, and she wrote in her email, "Thank you for believing that I could rise and touch the stars. Even I didn't forget this. Let's go, all stars, let's go." And we were the all stars. So I thought that was cute. Like those little little chance that we do does benefit. Ooh, love it. So those are some things to be mindful of. So if you want to get on Twitter, there's lots of great organizations. Instagram has a lot as well. That's usually more pictures per se. Facebook is awesome, but you don't get to see everything in those groups. Twitter to me has just been easier for me to network and connect with people, as well as LinkedIn, but I use Twitter way more than any others. And I think Christia does the same. Excellent. Be the best Christian I can be and share with as many people as I can. Love it. So all the doors as we are networking, whether it's in person or on a social media platform, are opening doors for us that we may never thought we could have. As we are building our PLN, different opportunities are going to arise, and keep letting your guys' light shine. You guys are powerful. You're amazing. We work hard, and we need to continue sharing the amazing things that are happening within our schools, our districts, and classrooms and states. So that's letting people know, because they don't know, but they don't know what's happening in education unless we tell them and share them their stories. ISTE years ago created How to Be a Connected Educator. And these are some that I like, a book talk, a book club. So I know as a Nevada Digital Ambassador, we have a book study that I do, one in the fall. That one's almost done. We're going to do another one in the spring, and then we'll have one this summer. And the one this summer will actually be face-to-face, but the ones in the fall and spring are virtual. Attending things face-to-face. There's even meetups that happen as well. And I want to share this. When I was putting together my slides the other day, and then it can't be found. I'll have to get the correct link for you. That's just silly. Well, darn. Okay. Oh, you know why? I copied it wrong. Let's try that again, Car. There we go. Now can you see that? How to be a connected educator. So we have to dedicate time to networking. That's important. So figure out how you want to network. I love to meet other people outside of our district and state. Ed chats. There's lots of different ed chats that happen. That's a great way to get started. Join a network. It does not have to be part of ISTE. ISTE just did the write-up. But any network, anything, computer science, there's Google, there's Nearpod, there's Q Nevada, there's NCTM, NCTE, so many different things. Attend conferences, ed camps. Ed camps are a lot of fun if you've never gone to one. I'm hoping we'll have an ed camp here in Vegas. I know I've helped do one in Carson City and Reno before, so those are powerful. And don't be afraid to share your ideas of what's happening. Don't be afraid. Share what's going on. I learned a few weeks ago how to use dominoes to teach fractions. It was amazing, and the kids love that station. So they just take the dominoes, they put it together, then they have to rotate it to find that reciprocal. So they're remembering all the different steps for division. I'm also having them practicing adding and subtracting with those as well. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Christia will. Here's what I found. Sorry, that was my watch. Christia will admit to this. Last year in August, I found out I was teaching virtual kindergarten. Super exciting. Heidi has never taught kindergarten a day in her life, yet alone virtual kindergarten. So I reached out on Twitter and ask people. I had so many different ideas, suggestions that it was helpful. And Christia even helped me on Twitter as well because she taught kinder before. So don't think that you can't ask for help. So that is one thing don't want to lose track of my tabs that you could do. So that's powerful as well.
Heidi, I think you got muted.
Thank you,
There
I
you
did. Where do you plan on starting to network to build your PLN? Go ahead in the chat. Tell me, where are you going to start planning? And where do you start wanting to network, building that PLN? You could even say today or right now. Doesn't matter. I see someone asking about the book clubs. I'll get you. That's a Facebook. Love it. The book clubs are, you sign up. If you email me, I'll drop in that email. We could send it out to you, but it's through Nevada Department of Ed. And then we just have you register as well. Ooh, joining other professional organizations from my area. Love it. And
Yes.
and participate. Joining is great, but make sure you're an active member. That's what the powerful part is when you become a member. Go ahead, Christia.
I was just gonna say that sometimes when you start, you might just be observing and just watching and just taking it in and seeing how things happen, and then you'll get comfortable, and then you'll start participating, and then you'll get the back and forth, and then it'll just kind of like just keep going. So it's understandable if you jump in and you're like, I just want to watch and see how this goes before I start putting a lot out there.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, I forget, my mind's drawing a blank, but on lurker on Twitter, when we have people join us on our chats, we would say just be a lurker, just lurk and watch and start slowly. We need a PLN link page. Okay, so are you talking about on the Canvas page for this, like have an area with the Facebook stuff and all that? Is that what you're discussing? Or suggesting? I can't talk. Okay. So one thing I want to share, and Dr. Sarah Thomas wrote this amazing quote, professional learning family, PLF. And I will tell you, some of the people in your PLN are going to turn into your family. You never know the journeys and experiences, and start tearing your balls and letting your light shine. These are people that don't live here in the state of Nevada, and I travel, or they travel to see me, which is awesome. So, and these are just some of them. I was trying to go through my pictures. So I've gone to Disneyland, baseball games, horseback riding, all kinds of different things, girls trips. So you never know what your PLN could turn into, which is amazing.
Didn't you just travel internationally over summer or something?
I did. I did. I did.
And that was with someone in your PLN, right?
Yep, it was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. I went to Ghana this summer, so that was fun. And it just takes those baby steps. And then it was cool because the last school year I connected with a teacher in Ghana. We weren't able to meet, but we tried to, but it just didn't work out. So you never know. I am planning to go to another country to meet one of my other friends, Eileen, as well. She lives in Kuwait as well. So you never know what could happen. Never in a million years did I think I'd be doing some of the things that I'm doing as well. And I would have never met Christia without this. Any questions? Any questions that you have? So just take that leap of faith, let your light shine, and don't be fearful. It'll all be fine. And reach out to me if you have questions. Christy is on social media too. She's always helpful as well. There's so many great people and educators willing to help. And the best part is you find the ones that re-energize you. I could tell you going to conferences, talking to my PLF and my PLN is like self-care. It re-energizes me. It lifts me back up, especially if we have those bad days, because we all do. Any questions? Anyone want to know how to set up either Twitter or their download Voxer? It's also web-based, Instagram, any of these. If you're not part of our Nevada Facebook group, I'll put that in the chat for you as well. And then Chris, you mentioned a PLN page. Can you elaborate what you mean by that?
I was just sorry, get the microphone
you're
down
fine.
here. It occurred to me, like we curate some other references and sometimes they get updated or sometimes we find new ones, et cetera, et cetera. It wouldn't be a bad thing, I think, somewhere, I don't know where, Nevada Department of Education, CCSD, PLN page with the link and a 1-sentence descriptor that says for people interested in, for this type of thing, for that type of thing, because there's got to be 700 out there. If we curated them down to, 50 or 60 or whatever. One way that we grow our networks is by joining one and then get connected to 2 others and then get connected to 4 others. Well, 6, somebody else knows 12, somebody else knows 15. If those were curated at a place, that might be helpful.
Okay. I do know at one time, and I'll have to see if I can find it. I know there was someone in another state, a few people that were kind of curating different things, which is awesome. I do know that if you love to present, I have, and I'll share this with you, and I'll drop the link in. But this came from my PLN. So there's someone in my PLN. Awesome. They keep track of all the different conferences and when the proposal links and when it's due, what's going on, where it's at as well. So that's also helpful. So I'll drop that in the chat as well. So you're right. There's lots going on and there's lots of different groups. But we could figure out, or we could discuss maybe different ways to curate it, but I know that could be challenging, but I love that idea. So if you like to present, I drop that in the chat for you. There's conferences dates all the way until next school year, 2023. And they update this spreadsheet.
Thank you for that document. That's very useful.
No, you're welcome. There's lots, and if you ever need connections, I have a diverse group of friends that I could always connect anyone to. So I know one of my friends, well, I met her this summer and now I'm either we were talking about taking a trip to Dubai or her home country, which is Palestine, so I could learn more. And so it just starts with those little small conversations and going. So I'm very adventurous. Obviously, you guys probably have noticed. But I love connecting others with others. Some of the people in my PLN here, I'll even show. Christina knows because I love connecting each other. Let me go to That's
Yes,
fine.
and I would love to connect with some people. I'm new to Nevada and I moved here in 2019. Just
Okay.
before the pandemic, for everything to shut down. And so my
Absolutely.
first few years teaching were kind of a little strange here in Nevada.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Um,
gonna share. I'll share this. So, like, and Christina knows Randall, but Randall and I met, and then I introduced him to Leticia. And this is Dr. DeTool, and I introduced him to Leticia. So it's been kind of fun. And then like Leticia introduced me to Seishan, and then Mr. Lopez. So it just keeps the circle of growth continues. And that's Eileen from Kuwait. So yeah. And I met her through ISTE. ISTE used to do the scavenger hunt, and it was so much fun. And we would dress up, and we had these themes, and it was just like, here, I'll add a quick little so you can blow it up. These ladies are like so much fun. I think Barbara has to be in her 70s. So that's Barbara. She wanted to be on the floor. We tried telling her not to, and then all of us. She's from Ohio, Texas, Vegas, California, and Kuwait. So you never know what's going to happen. Same thing with Christia. She has friends all over. So love it. Let us know, and we will find someone for you to meet or someone in your field. And if not, we'll ask someone and bring it to you.
sounds good to me.
Any other questions or ideas?
I just threw my Twitter handle in the chat. Heidi, I can't remember yours off the top of my head. It's
Oh,
like phone numbers now, because we don't ever type phone number in. I know it when I see it. Okay.
mine's easy. But yeah, you never know.
All right. You want me to stop the recording now?
Yeah.
Is it good? Okay.